Welcome to the Sports Showcase event on Hartford TV. I am Ray Ruse, and I'm here with my broadcast partner, Barb Solberg. We are at Bel Air High School for a girls softball match between Fallston Cougars and the Bel Air Bobcats. Currently this year, Fallston is coached by Carrie Clark, assistant coaches Scott Newkirk, Jeremy Burns, and Jeff Rowe. Their current record is 10-5. Bel Air is coached by Nicole Cosgrove and assisted by Chris Bosley and Tim Hilliard. Their current record is 3-11. Barb, welcome to the telecast. What are your thoughts about this game today?
Thanks for having me back, Ray. I would like it to be a little warmer.
Drier.
Drier. It is senior night for Bel Air, so they are currently walking the seniors onto the field, so that's exciting. I'm looking forward to a good matchup.
It's always a hard moment for the parents. You know, the dads, I don't see too many of them today because they can't fake it. Like, I often wore sunglasses to events like this so people couldn't see my eyes because you try not to tear up, but it's kind of hard not to. You've been through, I mean, these parents have been through how many Little League games since these girls were 7, 8 years old probably?
Yep.
This is a hard moment for them. I mean, we are down to the end of the season, near the end of the season, too. That's the thing about this. This is probably their last home game.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And that's why they're having the senior day planned for this. With that said, you're talking about regionals coming up soon. And I was talking to Carrie Clark, very nice conversation with her before the game. And last year they were 17-1. But she pointed out that they were in the Susquehanna division. And that wasn't quite as competitive. But they're holding their own this year, 10-5 in the upper division. So Bel Air last year was 10-6, and this year they're 3-11. And Coach Cosgrove is pointing out to us that in those 11 losses, 6 of them were by 1 run, and 2 of them were by the international tiebreaker rule, where you put a runner on second base.
Mm-hmm. So they've been involved in some close games. She didn't let us know who they played in those games, but they've been close.
Well, that's a tough pill to swallow. I was looking at a stat where last year in the Major League Baseball, the Seattle Mariners had a much better record than people thought they were going to have, and their record in one-run games was like 800 baseball. And
Wow.
they just happened to pull out a lot of one-run games, so it made them better than the statistics showed. You know, they may have given up more runs than they scored, but they were really good in close games. Well, some years you can just have those years where you're basically just a little bit unfortunate and losing a lot of close games.
Yeah, and it can be habit forming. If you're winning those games and you have confidence, you know, you go into them knowing you can win the game. And if you start losing those games, it's the same way. You're like, oh, no, here we go again.
So what I don't know, compared, and you're an outstanding softball player in all your years of playing, is in high school baseball, teams are relying on a second, third, fourth, fifth pitcher, and you have more relief pitching. In girls softball, more often than not, if you have a very strong pitcher, they can go the whole game. Mm-hmm. So I was going to say relief pitching isn't as much of a thing in girls softball, but having a second pitcher still is important when your starter doesn't have it.
It is. A lot of teams don't have that luxury. I do think both teams in this situation do. They have at least 2 pitchers.
Yes.
Each team does. But yeah, if it's just not working and you're not fooling the batters and they're hitting you hard, you gotta try to change something. So bringing in another pitcher is a good idea in that situation.
So we have a good shot of our home plate area where the head coaches of each team, the managers, are coming out, and I guess they're turning in their lineup cards and they're talking with the umpires. And speaking of umpires, we have Josh Walker, who's going to be at home plate today, and Rick Morris, who's going to be in the field. Softball generally, high school sports, baseball and softball generally only do 2 umpires. And boy, it's a tough game to call as it is. That's really tough.
It is. I know, you know, in the majors they have 4. It's
Yes.
a little easier. You only have 1 base to worry about, but these guys have to cover a lot of ground, the one in the field especially.
So I've never umpired softball or baseball. I've refereed soccer and other sports, and I greatly appreciate the job that any of those people do. and they get a lot of guff. You know, they can call a great game. And my last game in baseball with Tim Lindekamp, we saw an example that you're going to see in softball sometimes. You get people in the stands. You know, you got 5,000 people that aren't even near home plate at a major league game think they can see the strike zone. But the umpire basically calls their strike zone. So some umpires, they like a low strike zone, some like a high strike zone. Some of them will give that pitch 2 inches off the plate on the outside a strike. And they don't really give the inside corner. Well, part of pitching, and you've pitched, is you got to learn the umpire's strike zone just like the batters do.
You do.
So the last game we did, I'm not lying, the umpire was giving 5 inches off the plate a strike. But the one pitcher was very smart. And they started saying, well, I'm going to throw it 6 inches off the plate and make these batters chase.
That's what you do. If the umpire's giving you that, you throw it, and then you keep inching out a little bit farther each time and see how much he'll give you.
So they have all these new things these days where teams have iPads on the bench and this and that, and they're giving them all kind of information. But one thing I like is I love seeing batters relaying information to each other. So I noticed that last year with my favorite MLB team, the Orioles. I started seeing batters sharing information. And they're like, the pitcher's throwing this breaking pitch on the outside corner. And this is what it's doing. I don't know how much of that happens at the high school level or how much of it's required by the coaches. But I did see in the last baseball game I called, I did see batters sharing information. Did you do that in college when you were batters?
We did it in college. Yep. Every game we were tracking what the pitcher was pitching. You know, if she always tries to throw that first strike right down the middle, we'd want to know that. If she has a pattern about when she's throwing a change up or a curve or a rise, we'd want to know that too.
So I'm not sure what's going on with the delay of the start of the game here. Both umpires are here. The coaches just shook hands and the captains, it looks like. So looks like we're ready to play ball here. So we will have Fallston batting first. And Barb, I think we had a result earlier this year. These two teams played each other once.
They played in April, which is pretty early in the season, and Fallston won 7-1.
So we're going to see here with this Fallston lineup that we have a real mixture here. I count 3 freshmen starting and a sophomore, and then the rest of them are juniors. They don't have one senior on the team.
No, you're right. They don't.
Except one on the bench. It may be coming in later in the day. But that's an unusual statistic there. You think you'd have 3 or 4 seniors on a varsity team. But that bodes well for next year. I mean, they're going to have most of their team return, including their pitcher and catcher.
Yeah, and Bel Air they do not have a deep bench.
No, and they have
At
a few injuries, if I'm not mistaken, to make it even smaller. So the pitcher we have in here for Bel Air will be Sophia Gallahue. And often pitchers can play other positions. You know, if they don't pitch that day, they're usually a good infielder.
Well, I can tell you I have the batting stats for her, and she's one of the leading hitters on the team. So when she's not pitching, you're definitely going to want her in the lineup somewhere.
Yes. Now I'm watching the pitcher warm up here a little bit. We got first base shot here and the catcher. Nice shot of our catcher here. The catcher for Bel Air is Amelia Mason. I kind of think that's the toughest position to play in softball and baseball, and one of the toughest ones to play in sports. I think we talked last time. I don't think you ever had to do that very often.
No, I did once when our catcher didn't show up.
Okay.
And they call it the tools of ignorance, is all the gear you have to wear and get beat up back there.
Yeah, Barb played with my wife Sherry, and Sherry caught very often on our women's team, and not to say everybody else had a clean uniform, but the catchers never had a clean uniform. And I've seen her run over a few times. I played a little bit of catcher in men's slow pitch softball, and I've had my teeth cracked before and knocked back. But I'm just looking at this as a 59-year-old man standpoint, Barb, and I couldn't squat like that for one inning, let alone 7.
I have a hard time squatting down to read how my golf ball is going to break on a green.
Yeah, I know you're a good golfer too. My family loves golf. My back can't quite handle it, but got our leadoff batter here, Tricia Armstrong coming up. She's a junior and she's our center fielder. And the sun has come out, Barb. Yes.
Yeah, let's hope it stays out.
Yes. Right before we went on air, folks, we had a quick rainstorm. Remember, they took a run and cover up everything. It's a high pitch.
And I have to say the field looks great.
It does.
With all the rain we've had in the last few days, it's in good shape.
Kudos to the athletic department and the grounds crew. People don't know that after a whole weekend of rain like that, how much work they had to put into that. Nice outside pitch, swing and a miss, 1-1 count.
So Tricia's been playing softball for 10 years. She has a 4.1 GPA, and she wants to pursue forensic science in college.
I love those TV shows, and
I do too. There's some other ones. We might have some future FBI agents on the field.
Definitely. One of my soccer players, Holly Rakowski, and was a great softball player for Seamount Wright. I think she went into that field of study. So that was a good fight off there. You noticed three of
the
these
outside corner, and she fought it off nicely.
Well, the first and second strike were both low outside, and the second strike looked like it had some down and out break on it. But that's smart for the pitcher to do that. But that's why somebody like Tricia's a leadoff batter. You know, she has that bat skill to fight a tough pitch like that off.
Yeah,
There it is.
She's batting .472.
So, Barb, I know from being one of the base coaches on your women's team, we often had you bat cleanup and around there. Did you ever bat leadoff anywhere?
No, I never did. I was always third, fourth, or fifth on line.
Okay. So it makes me wonder if you have a different mindset when you're in different spots of the lineup. Like, how much does there's a nice hit ball. Wow, that was Sarah Frist, folks.
Sarah Frist, yep, the catcher.
And she nailed that ball, but you see how close the center fielder is on that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the outfield's playing in really close in my view. I don't know if that's close to you.
It looks like it's close.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell with the fence back there how far it is. The right fielder looks a little deeper than center.
I guess that's a show of confidence in your pitcher. Okay, now we have Maddie Burns, folks. She's a junior.
Well, we got a steal. No throw.
Steal down? Wow, nice.
Well, they're being aggressive right off the bat.
So do you think that was stolen off the pitcher when you see a no throw down there, or do you think they just took the catcher by off guard?
No, I think it took everyone off guard.
Okay.
Maddie's batting .478 also.
And Maddie's our pitcher, Fallston. Nice ground ball. So we got the out at first, and our batter moves up to third base. I mean, our runner, Sarah Frost, is it? Looks like she moves all the way over.
Sarah
to
Frist.
Frist,
yes.
Okay. My handwriting isn't awesome, folks, but we had that rainstorm and my scorebook got a little bit wet before we had a chance to cover it up. So all you need is a one base hit here, or you got to watch out for the wild pitch. There's a ground ball, throw over, and out.
Nice play.
That was our third baseman over there for Bel Air, Lizzie Zarsona, and she handled that very calm. I liked that the runner broke home because they're going to assume the plays at first anyhow, and then they throw one in the dirt. She's going to, score. So at the end of one half inning there, folks, we have one single, no runs, and one left on base. We're coming to the bottom of the first inning here. Bel Air will be leading off with Kirsten Coppage as a senior center fielder. So the Bel Air lineup is a little bit more senior laden, but they also have some young players on there. So I'm counting 3 seniors in the starting lineup. Actually 4. But we also have 3 freshmen, 4 freshmen. So 4 seniors and 4 freshmen and 1 sophomore. So they have a young team too. Now they have a different lineup, folks. They have 10 in the lineup. So there's a sophomore and a junior because they're having a bat for the catcher. So Maddie Waters will be the designated player, designated hitter for catcher Amelia Mason. So what do you think about a freshman catcher? That's a tough job to come into right away.
Well, I think if she's on the team, she's been playing for
a long time.
many years, and she's used to it, and she's had some good coaching coming up in the rec leagues.
So also the Bel Air pitcher is only a sophomore. So young battery is, I think that's what they call the pitcher catcher, if I'm using the right term. So when you pitched, when you went to the bench in between innings, did you often sit with your catcher and talk things out, or more so your pitching coach?
In high school, no, I didn't do either.
In college?
In college, you would, yes.
Okay.
And honestly, in college, I'm sure they do now, but we didn't have a pitching coach. We had a head coach and an assistant coach, who did happen to pitch, by the way. But you didn't have all the coaches, you know, the batting coach and the pitching coach and the bench coach.
Yeah.
We just didn't have that when I played.
Some pitchers like to be by themselves. They don't want anybody to talk to them between innings. They're thinking on their own. The left-handed batter here for Kirsten Coppage. Shot at the back of our first baseman here.
And Kirsten is batting .563.
Wow.
It's no wonder she's in the leadoff position.
Is that going to stay
And
fair?
she starts out with a hit.
Yeah.
And probably extra bases.
Wow. She struck that ball well. So the thing is, I love to see the batters that are willing to go with the pitch. You can take an outside pitch and just punch it to the left side when you're a left-handed batter.
Yeah, that's not easy to do sometimes either. I was never very good at it. I was always a pull hitter.
So now you have number 2 batter, Abby Wizard, senior. She's our right fielder. Abby's dad is here watching, and I know him and his family well. I coached Abby's brother, Jake, on my soccer team for years, one of my good defenders. So that ball was high. You're at the 2-3-4 spot here. I'm imagining you're going to let him hit, but would be surprised by number 2 batter laying down a bunt?
No,
As soon as I say that, up, and what a good play.
and I think that's why she threw the ball up.
Yeah.
She was expecting her to put the ball down.
Yeah, that was a very good pitch.
And it worked. That's usually what happens when you try to bunt a high pitch.
It's hard to tell a high school player to do this, but with a 1-0 count, sometimes I would want to at least see a strike, because that would have gone to a 2-0 count there if she took that. But it's hard to do when your coach told you to lay down a bunt.
Right.
Strike. So what you see here, we have our number 3 batter, Sadie Whitaker, is a freshman left fielder leading off. Batting third is a freshman. Wow. But you see our pitcher with a face mask on. And for the people who've never pitched, that ball comes back hard sometimes. It's a nice pitch there. So they really needed that bailout of a pop foul. Nobody out, player on second. That really helps.
Yeah, when you got that situation, you want to move the runner.
Yes.
And do whatever you have to do to move her.
Looks like she's throwing pretty hard here, especially in that high pitch.
Well, it looked like it had a little rise to it.
Yeah. There's a strikeout there for our pitcher. So we got our cleanup hitter here. Jaden Better's up. She's a senior first baseman.
She's batting .265 for the season. Oh, nice outside pitch.
Yeah, she's
That was probably a ball, but she got her to swing at it. Beller's going up to the plate being aggressive, right off the bat.
Okay, we got a high pop and foul
That's
ground.
out of play.
So I don't know if the fans can hear this through our headsets, but you've got a lot of team spirit on the Bel Air bench over here. That's a softball trait for a lot of teams. But I didn't see that in our first game as much from either team. So it sounds like Bel Air is into that bench chatter. I see some of the college games on TV, Barb, and they do that the whole game.
The whole game, and they have rehearsed cheers.
Yes.
That was something that we never did. We cheered, but we didn't have rehearsed cheers.
So I think we have a 2-strike pitch here, count here, so batter's going to have to protect a little bit. Outside, good take.
Good take. That looked like the same pitch he swung at.
Yes.
No.
So now you're reading this as a pitcher. I don't know that I would want to come inside strike zone to this batter. She looks strong, like she could really, if she connects. She went a little bit outside that time. So they strand one runner on. They got a leadoff double by Kirsten Coppage, but they left her on base. And at the end of one inning, we have a 0-0 game, folks. So now we're going to go back to fairly middle of the lineup here for Fallston. And I also want to point out that Fallston is, it's Carrie Clark's first year coaching, but she did 3 years of coaching JV, and she's also coached softball for 9 years at various places. Scott Newkirk, it's his first year coaching with the team. So our leadoff batter will be Elisa Rowe, junior, and is our shortstop.
Yeah, I noticed, Ray, Bel Air has two good pitchers. I saw them warming up, and they're both left-handed.
Wow.
Which is very unusual in the high school level. It's somewhat unusual in college, but they do have more.
So I have down here that Bel Air was had some really good success in recent years. In 2019, they went 10-5 and they won the regional championship. COVID canceled 2020. In 2021, they won 13-3 and won the regional championship again. And they're a larger school, so to win the regional championship in 3A is very impressive.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't follow it. Did you know if they had a lot of seniors? I mean, it seems like, like I said, they don't have a lot of support on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
They have one substitute maybe.
My Barb, one of our mutual friends, my wife coached 2 years at Bel Air varsity softball with Valerie Cooper.
Oh, she did? I did not know that.
Yes.
Valerie's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, Valerie played on our women's softball team too, and was an administrator for many years in Harford County Public Schools. Yeah, they went to the, I don't know what their history is with winning any states before or after Valerie, but they definitely went far one of the 2 years that they coached. I think they either won the regionals and lost in the state semifinals or lost in the regional final. When you get to that level, that's when you're facing some fireballs. That ball was well struck by Elisa, but our right fielder pulls it in for a fly out.
Glad to see her using two hands.
Yeah, that was Abby Wizard out there.
That seems to be a thing that's not something you do anymore, but I'm glad to see it.
Oh, yes. Orioles lost the game earlier this year when the outfielder decided to use one hand and do a snap catch, right?
Yep.
It's hard to get these athletes to do the basics, other hand following the ball into the glove, making sure it's in there. So now we have our number 6 batter, Allie Underwood, another one of our freshmen who's also playing third base.
She's another one that is interested in nursing or criminal justice.
Barb, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I was a freshman in high school.
I know, that's impressive being a freshman.
Yes. I mean, I love it. I mean, it's more of the common trend, especially at good quality schools like these, and the parents are trying to get these kids ready for life. But I was wondering where my friends and I were going to go hang out after the game.
Right.
You know, what's pizza joint we were going to go to, and both of those professions would be a great thing. I mean, they have these programs at all these schools now too that they didn't have when we were in school. You can go to this school for this
Right.
and this school for that. You can go to North Hartford, I think, for the agriculture program, and you can go somewhere else for math and science, and that's outstanding. Just outside. Or you called that a strike?
They did call it a
Okay.
strike. I noticed Ray and Bel Air's doing it. They're getting the signals from the bench,
Mm-hmm.
which is very popular these days. And in the last game that we called, I believe the catchers were catching the game, which I actually like to see.
They called the game.
I like it when the
themselves?
catchers call the game.
Yeah. That's our first walk here, and that's Allie Underwood on first base. So let's see if she's got the running game here. That was a good job by Allie to learn the strike zone there, because she had committed to a strike earlier outside, but then she took a couple outside ones and earned the walk.
And I'm wondering if the discussion at the mound isn't to discuss if she steals or not.
Right?
Fallston was aggressive the first inning.
So 1 down, 1 on. Top of the second inning, 0-0 game. Popped up out of play. I gotta look at this backstop, Barb. That one was almost high enough to like
it's
hit the
straight
top
up,
and dribble
yeah.
over onto us.
Doesn't
So
have the curve to it that most of them do.
I'm gonna be like Kevin Brown in the booth with the Orioles with a Mike Bordick. Barb, you're responsible for fielding the ball if it comes over. You're the player, I'm not.
I did not bring my glove, Ray.
So are you saying we're both heading for the hills?
Yes,
Okay,
we
I
are.
thought so.
And it's cold out here.
Yeah, you don't want to catch a softball that high popped on the bare hand, that's for sure. Okay, let's see if the runner's going to do anything. That's a foul ball off to the right. So Olivia Rotella is a sophomore left fielder up the bat for us right now. Number 8, wearing Cal's number.
She also plays soccer.
Yeah, I remember her earlier this year. I called a Fallston girls soccer game, and they did, I want to say they won states or made it to the finals. There's that
That was
outside
a
strike.
Nice pitch. That just hit the outside corner.
Well,
Tough one to take.
and that's what I'm getting back to from earlier when I said you have different umpires who like different parts of his plate. He seems to respect that outside pitch, and he'll give it just barely off the strike zone, but if that's his strike zone, the pitchers and the batters need to learn it.
They do, and as long as he's consistent, I think
Yes.
nobody can complain. They always say if you're doing a good job, nobody even knows the umpire's there. It's when everybody starts yelling at the umpire that
I
you think,
know. So I think this is our second baseman, junior Grace Clark, at the bat here. And this is the coach's daughter, I think. She did not want us to point that out. Mom said she would be mortified if we
okay,
pointed
Ray,
it
you got to pay for that one.
out. Mom will like it, player won't like it. I'm used to this stuff. I think that's a neat thing, though, to have your own parent coach you when they can. I mean, I had the fortune of coaching my kids in sports all the way up, and I asked them now, I said, did that bother you? And they were like, only 5% of the time. That's a nice hit ball.
Oh, right back.
Went
Pitcher
through
didn't
it.
field it. Oh,
Okay.
that's a tough one. Usually, if you're the pitcher, you don't, and they tell you not to touch it. Because you really think the shortstop would have come over and fielded it had she not made it ricochet.
So now we have runners on first and second with 2 outs. And we are to our number 9 batter, Megan Watts. She's a junior, and she's playing in right field for us.
She wants to pursue a career in physics, maybe aerospace engineering.
Wow. She's got to be smart. That's incredible.
Well, she is a straight A student.
When I got done high school, I did not want any part of science if I could help it. Math, no problem, but science. And then I became a physical education major, and I found out that it's filled with science. So I ended up taking all kind of science.
Well, that ball started on the outside and actually came back in a little bit.
That's so amazing when they can make the ball move. So Megan's going to have a chance to produce some runs and get us back to the top of the order if she can get on base here. Foul tip.
That evens the count, 2-2.
So now we got to see if our pitcher, Sophia Gallahoo, could calm herself down after that misplay on the last ball. Get this out and no harm.
Yeah, there are 2 outs, and you got a force play at any base.
Well, she's already struck out 2 batters too, so only 1 batter has been able to put the ball in the air. The others have struck out or.
That was a check swing that was called a strike.
So that'll bring us to the top of the order next inning, and there's the 3rd strikeout for our pitcher, Sophia Gallahoo. So we're going to be back to the top of the inning. So at the end of 1.5, there's only 1 hit so far for Bel Air. I'm sorry, for Fallston. They had 0 runs, 0 hits, 2 left on. Don't like to leave 3 runners on in 2 innings, but
No, but they're at least getting on base.
yes. So now we're going to come to our number 5 batter for Bel Air will be Ava Vecchione, and she's a shortstop and a junior.
She's batting .326.
So one stat we don't get here, folks, is on base percentage, how often these players walk and do some other things. So obviously earlier in your batting order, you're looking at people that have higher batting averages, but some of them are really good at just taking walks and getting on base. I love that kind of batter. I love that kind of batter that can protect the plate, make the pitcher throw 8, 10 pitches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the really good batters can just foul off the pitches they don't like until they get one they like. I don't expect too much of that at this level, but probably a few of them that can do it.
Mm-hmm. Swinging at a high pitch there. That looked like a riser there.
It did. I wouldn't expect this one to be too fat.
Right. You got an 0-2
Keep
count
it out of
here.
the strike zone with an 0-2 count.
Batter laid off. Got more of our Bel Air bench chatter going here. Got her.
Went inside that time. That was a good change of pace.
That's her 3rd strikeout already. These pitchers are racking up early strikeouts. So now we have Sophia Gallahoo batting. She is the pitcher, and she's a sophomore.
She's also hitting .349. One of the leading hitters.
Hit that ball well.
And that's why you wear a face mask. Good reflexes.
Man,
That was hit about as hard as you can hit it.
that's called, she's smiling a little bit. That's called self-defense right there. Here we go. Let's see this play. Right at her.
Wow, she
It
just,
was on that glove
it was
side.
right at the glove.
That was a nice low strike there. I think her heartbeat's a little bit higher right now. She's got to calm herself down, right?
Well, her mother certainly is if she's watching.
And if she didn't want to wear their face mask, that's when her parents say, see,
Right.
that's why you wear it. So we got Maddie Waters up here right now. She's our designated player, designated hitter for our catcher, and she's a junior. And that was fast looking.
There's a lot of spin on that ball as it's coming in.
We don't have a radar gun here for you folks like they do at the Major League stadiums, but from my naked eye, that looked fast.
Yeah, and she's doing a good job moving the pitches up and down and inside and outside. That might have been the first changeup we've seen.
People don't realize, if they've never pitched in baseball or softball, how hard it is to locate and put the ball exactly where you want it. And people watch games on TV, softball or baseball, and they go, 0-2 count, why'd they put that right down the middle? Well, they didn't mean to. You know, they meant to put it somewhere else. He allowed that one to be called a check swing. It was real close.
Yep.
And he verified with our first base umpire, Rick Morris, and Rick says that she did not go.
So we got a full count now. 2 outs. That was a good take.
Yeah, she worked
Good
that
eye.
walk. She
She
earned
did.
that. So I'm a big fan, Barb, of people that can really locate well. So you have your fireballers, and if they can get it within the strike zone or just inches out the plate, even 4, 5, 6 inches, people will swing at it and miss. But these pitchers that can move the ball high, low, inside, outside, at will, that's great skill.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out. You know, and if every other pitch is different, it is really hard for the batters.
So we have Anna
figure it
Tackett
out.
here. Anna is a freshman, also Barb, playing second base, and this will show my age. I coached her father right here at Bel Air High School on the track team.
Okay, you said it, I didn't.
I know. my wife and kids remind me every day that I'm old. It's okay. I'm aware. And then he coached in my my futsal league that I ran, and he's always very nice and comes up and says hi to me and talks about old times. Okay, we got I think he said 2 balls, 2 strikes, but I'm not sure. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Okay. Sometimes the scoreboard will not match that. There you go. Pop up to the third baseman. And you know what? People don't realize that little squib pop-up like that's not as easy as you think, because sometimes it has a little spin on it. Allie Underwood did a good job of calmly catching that. So we'll be coming to the 8-9 batter. So that inning, all we had was a walk. We had no hits, no runs, and we have another runner left on base. So we're coming at the end of 2 innings, folks. It's a pitcher's duel here, 2-2. Both pitchers look like they're really in control, Barb.
I agree. They're throwing a lot of strikes. The batters are swinging at a lot of strikes. The pitches that are called balls are really close.
So we're coming to the top of the 3rd inning here. And according to my scorebook, it looks like we're back to the top of the order again. So let me see if I'm correct here. The coaches talking things over, getting ready to go out and cover their bases. Standard thing you're seeing on the field here, folks, is the way people warm up in between innings. You have the outfielders throwing the ball. It looked like this time the right fielder was throwing back and forth with somebody on the bench, and that way the center fielder and the left fielder can just play catch with each other. Then the center fielder throws the ball into a designated coach or bench player. Infield throws the ball around the infield, obviously, while the pitcher and catcher warm up. I think I heard, and I could be corrected, but I think I heard the number of 8 for the amount of warm-up pitches the pitchers get in between innings.
Oh, I'm trying to remember what we used to get. I don't know that 8 was the number, but there was a number that you couldn't go above.
I could be mixing it up with the amount that they get when they're coming in new. The high pitch there.
Yeah, I see 5 rings a bell for some reason, but
I think
it's been so long. Don't hold me to that.
Good catch. I think I remember it now from the other game. 5 in between innings for a returning pitcher, but if somebody comes in and they switched to a new pitcher, they get 8 to 10, something like that, which you need, because if you're coming in cold, you need at least
Yeah, you got to warm up. Oh,
just over the second baseman's
Yep.
head. So it was a nice shot
Just
there.
grazed her glove. She almost had that.
So that was our leadoff batter, Tricia Armstrong, getting a single there.
And we'll see if she steals again. She stole the first inning.
Actually, I think it was Sarah Frist that got the steal.
Oh, you're right. You're
Yes.
right.
But you would think leadoff batter should be able to steal. I would imagine she has some speed.
It was their first batter on base. That's what.
Yes. And what we have here is, will Bel Air be more ready for it this time?
Faking the bunt,
She
and
went-
she is going.
Throw was there in
It
time.
was there. She just couldn't hang on to it.
It was almost like a little sinker pitch there, that ball that's dropped right at the last second. And so we got 2 for 2 on steals here. I think we got the Mullins-Mateo combination going here.
And the batter faked the bunt. It was called a strike. We'll see if she does it again or if she actually bunts.
So this time, will she be able to bunt her to third with nobody out? Good job getting the bat on it. That was a tough pitch to bunt. I mean, that was high outside. Looked like our pitcher deliberately threw another high
Deliberately
pitch.
threw it, yep. You know, when I was learning how to bunt, you would put the bat at your eyes. And if the ball went above that, you don't touch it. But if it went below it, you drop the bat and try to put the bunt down.
Another tough skill in softball. I mean, how often did your team, there it is, got a strikeout there. How often, when you got batting practice during practices, was it like the last X amount of pitches you'd had to bunt? That's what I remember to be.
No, that was fun. We did that all the time. I think the difference was the pitcher's not throwing as hard as they typically do in a game.
Right,
And they're trying to, in batting practice, you're throwing nice, fat, juicy strikes.
right.
So it is hard to simulate the game situation.
Now, I don't think you're going to see it very often because it's a shorter throw. I don't think you're going to see third base attempted very often for a steal.
I would agree. You might catch him by surprise, though. So
Right. Especially when they have to throw around the right-handed batter.
around the batter, and that batter just needs to stay in the batter's box.
Mhm.
They don't necessarily have to get out of the way.
I've seen both techniques done by catchers, Barb. One, the catcher has come forward and thrown on the inside of the batter, and then sometimes they step back behind the batter and fire down the third. Got to be a little bit scary as the batter to have that ball thrown by
Yes,
her,
I agree.
whizzing by her head down there to the line. So you will notice that our runner on second base, Tricia, has getting jumps off each time. And that's smart because if there's one ball in the dirt, she's going to be on third.
Mm-hmm.
Just notice our catcher's American flag stars and stripes looking chest protector there.
Well,
There
there's
she
that
goes.
ball.
And that's taking a weird
Well,
bounce.
Somebody needs to cover home.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, you call it dead ball. It was ball 4 for our batter, Maddie Burns. And as the ball ricocheted, folks, from right behind home plate towards the bench of Fallston on the left, on the third base line here, it was smart. Maddie ran to second. And she thought, you know, why can't I be here? But the the umpire called it a dead ball out of play. I like seeing that heads-up base running, though.
I do too. So now we have a first and third situation, and they just met at the mound to discuss if she steals. Are we going to try to get her out? Or are we not going to try to get her out? It's one of the hardest plays in softball to execute properly.
So we got Abby Marmon, our freshman first baseman, cleanup hitter on at bat here. And she hits that ball in the gap.
That's in the gap.
Down. Runner scores. And that was smart base running by Maddie. It wasn't a ball that was going to like continue past the outfielders. So she just took second base and was satisfied.
And I don't think she got a big jump on it because
No.
she wasn't sure if it would be caught or not. And with only one out, she had to make sure that that ball got down.
I would also imagine the conditions of the outfield with all the rain we've had, balls they're not going to move very far.
I
unless
see
they're-
some dandelions out there too, so I don't think they've cut the grass in the last few days.
Yeah, they haven't had a chance, Barb. It's kind of like me. I messed up and didn't mow my lawn before the rain started for 3 days, and now it's too high and wet. So we got to run in here, and we've got 2 on base still, and we only have 1 out. So big hit here by our batter, Elisa Rowe. Could be big.
So that's
she hits that to
left fielder should have it.
Fly out. Runners hold. Now we got 2 outs for Allie Underwood, freshman third baseman. She walked last at bat. She showed a good eye. She showed a ability to lay off that outside pitch.
Good high strike. As a batter, that's not really a pitch you want to hit.
No.
That was a good strike, but it's not one you're looking to drive.
Unless you can hit good to the opposite field, that looks like a pop up to the right side if you're swinging about like that. What's that? Okay, number 11 is courtesy running. That's Elizabeth DiTargiani, and she is a courtesy runner for our pitcher.
And she's bilingual. She speaks French.
So I don't even speak English very well, Barb.
I took French in high school, but you'd never know it.
Yeah, I took German. I can remember like numbers and a few other things, but did not put it to practice. That was our home plate umpire a second ago, Josh Walker, nicely telling me about the courtesy runner. We love it when they keep us straight here on replacements and switches. That's a good pitch.
That was a great pitch. She was
Kind
down
of froze
2
her there,
strikes.
Barb.
It did.
So that is her, let me count here, 1, 2, 3, 4 strikeout for pitcher Sophia Gallahue. So we had, let's see where this pitch was, Barb.
It's an 0-2 count.
Yep, just,
A little too close to take.
yeah, it's a tough decision there, but you sort of gotta protect. So that inning we had a walk and 2 singles, and I think we had 1 run scored. So they have, how many were left on there, Barb? 2 were still left on?
I think 2, yes. First
So
and
they have
second.
5 runners left on base so far, but they did break through and get their first run. So now we're going to the bottom of the 3rd inning here, folks. And for Bel Air, we're going to have our number 8, 9 batters come up, or actually our number 9 batter. First at bat here for Lizzie Sarsona, and she's a freshman, third baseman. See what she has here. Nice pitch.
Yeah, she's got a little strike zone. She can use that to her advantage.
That was a nice cut she had there. Just missed it. Plays the hot corner. Another position in softball I'd be afraid to play.
Yeah, it is. I think she also plays shortstop on occasions.
So that's why you see our Fallston third baseman, Allie Underwood, also wearing a face mask. Not uncommon. Ball can come off the bat so fast, especially when they're playing in a little bit.
Well, yeah, sometimes they move in so close for the bunts, and it's scary.
Good shot of our pitcher here. She seems to have a ritual, Barb, where she wiggles the ball in her hand a little bit. I feel that baseball and softball players are some of the most superstitious athletes in sports. Now they've gotten away from a lot of that in baseball with the pitch clock now and how long the batter has to get in the batter's box. But you see our pitcher do a certain ritual with her hand right before she puts the ball back in the glove, and then pulls it out and fires it home. Batters, did you have any of those rituals? You had to adjust your batting glove. You had to do this and that.
I probably did, but you just do the same thing every time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it a ritual. It was just probably a habit.
Habit, yeah. So that was a strikeout there, low and outside again, right on the edge of the strike zone there.
Who was the baseball player that did his
Oh,
gloves?
It used to drive me
Adjusted
crazy.
them and readjusted them.
Yeah, he like took them off, back on.
Tightened them, loosened them.
So we're back to our leadoff batter here, and Nomar Garciparra. Yes, he married one of my favorite soccer players of all time, Mia Hamm, and he probably would have had 2-minute at-bats easily. I mean, maybe 5-minute at-bats.
Yeah, I don't think he'd appreciate the pitch count, the pitch clock these days.
No, he would not. So our last time at bat, Kirsten had that solid double. So let's see what she can do here. Fouled it off to the left side. So our pitcher is ahead of the count here. I don't know how these girls aren't going to have laryngitis after the game, Barb. You're chanting nonstop. It's awesome team spirit. That's another well-struck ball. Dropping in there.
In center field, little bobble.
So now our leadoff hitter is 2 for 2.
Right, both of them right up center field.
Yeah, let's see if she's going to run.
Yeah, I know it's still early in the game. It's only the third inning, but they are down one. I might think about getting a little aggressive on the bases.
Well, and if she's a leadoff batter, I would think she's got some speed along with her good batting average. Get a chance to see our catcher in action here.
Oh, she took a big lead. Throw down the first. She made it back.
I love to see them make the catcher throw. I love to make them see the pitcher throw.
I do too, as long as the right fielder's backing up.
Yep.
Which she was.
And I mean, I love to see the base runner draw throws, because who knows, they might throw one away. We got it again. Oh, she could have thrown down that time.
She's thinking about it. I think she's doing exactly what you said, Ray. She's trying to draw the throw.
Important pitch here. She's out there.
Oh,
Wow.
it almost looked intentional. Once she threw it to first, it looked like she just took off for a second. And then she bobbled the ball. It made it easier.
But I'll tell you what, you're right. It's almost like she goaded her into that. It's like, I'm going to make you throw down once.
And every pitch, she did it.
I'm going to make you stare me down a little bit. Good view of her getting the lead off at second base here. Let's see if she causes some havoc out at second base as well. Outside.
That was a good 1-2 pitch. With 2 strikes, that was a really good pitch. Trying to get that batter to chase something out of the strike zone.
So this is Abby Wizard up for the second time. She flew out the first at bat. I call those base runners kind of like antagonizers. They're like deliberately trying to mess with your head, draw throws, take extra bases. That was a good catch by our catcher, Sarah Frist. I mean, that ball, she caught that in the top of that glove that time.
And she's got a big lead off a second also, doing the same thing, but nobody's there to cover second. So I don't anticipate any throws going down.
That's punched in the right field.
It's going to fall in.
And she had to wait and see.
She did.
If it was going to fall in. Nice, solid single there by
And the right fielder did a good job fielding it and getting it into the cutoff person. You got to get that ball in quick.
So now we got a good opportunity here for Bel Air with Sadie Whitaker up. 2 runners on, 1 out.
And another first and third situation. Let's see how the defense handles it.
So let's see if Abby runs. I'd like to see her run if I'm.
And she's going.
That's a pop-up
it's pop
straight
up.
up.
She's
I
got to
think
get back.
She's got to be
She
told.
doesn't know it. She's got to get back.
Oh, and it's a double play.
Ah. I was really surprised to see the batter swing on that first pitch with the runner going.
It's a little bit of bad luck there. You know, I like the aggressiveness on the base running, and she was not able to hear the coaches telling her to get back.
No, I wonder if it was a hit and run.
Yeah.
Could have been a hit and run.
So we have 0 runs that inning, and we have 2 hits, 2 left on. At the end of 3 innings, it is 1-0 Fallston. And we are coming up to get a few little raindrops. This is one of those strange spring days, Barb, where we had sun, then we had rain, then we had beautiful sunshine. Now it's getting a little bit overcast again, and we've got a little bit of dribbles going here. You really got to hope that we can get through the last 4 innings here.
Yeah, and a complete game is after 5, right? So we're in the 4th.
So now we're going to have Olivia Rotella coming up for her second at bat. And I think we might. Do we have a pitching change here, Barb?
No.
No?
No, I think she's been pitching.
Okay.
It's hard to tell. They're both left-handed.
Yeah, you're right. I got thrown off because the umpire went over and talked to the coaches as she was coming out to the mound. Oh, this is what threw me off. She just came out without her face mask on, and now she put it back on. That's what made me think it was a new pitcher, but...
And I knew it was the same one because I was number 10. I wore the same number, so...
I was 10 in soccer. Every soccer player wanted number 10 because of Pele. Was there a reason you wanted 10? Was there somebody that you liked with number 10? Just a habit from younger years?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't think I was number 10 in high school, but in college and thereafter I was.
That's what people normally do when they get a number. There's the ground ball foul. When people get a number in youth or high school, they want that number for college if they can get it. So we have Olivia is our left fielder, and she's a sophomore.
It's starting to rain a little harder now.
Mm-hmm. I learn from Don all the time, but I think my next lesson will be to bring a transparent sheet of laminate or something.
or an umbrella.
Yes, an umbrella would be good, but kind of hard to hold it at the same time you do all this
Yeah,
other
it would be
stuff.
hard.
So I need to bring a person to hold the umbrella. That's what it is.
There you go.
See?
I want your kids to do it.
Yeah, they're both getting off their teaching jobs right now. Foul ball off the top of the backstop here. This is a deeper backstop, Barb. Our last game we did, I think the backstop was closer to home plate. And we noted that it would be, you know, harder to get home or take an extra base or two. But this is definitely a little bit more space to the backstop.
We got 2-2 count.
Now let's see the pitcher calm on this one. Just gets a ground out.
Well, that's not always easy as a pitcher either. If you're used to throwing it underhand, and then you hit it back to you, you have to throw it overhand.
That's the left-hander. She had to spin all the way around to throw that ball.
Yeah, and she did it all in one smooth motion.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the fans are heading for the shelter.
Well, I see, like you saw before, I see some clear skies coming again. I'm hoping that's the direction it's coming. So our batter right now, folks, is Grace Clark, and she got on with an error last inning. That's a slow
It's
hit
a
ball.
tough play. Oh,
Just got her.
the underhand toss.
She, I don't mind the underhand toss. She lobbed it a little bit more than I think she meant to.
Could have been a little more direct, but she got the job done.
Well, she also has a tall first baseman over there, so that helped. They're kind of talking it over right now and laughing about it a little bit. And sometimes you go to release that underhand, and it stays in your hand a little bit longer than you meant it to. So now we've got, actually, yeah, that was Grace. So now we have Megan Watts coming up again. And she struck out last time. So let's see if our pitcher here, Sophia, if she could get this out, this would be our first three up,
First
three
three
down.
of them, 3 down. I was thinking the same thing. She's ahead in the count.
Still a well-pitched game for both teams. The pitchers are doing a good job. I mean, we've seen 10-6 softball games. This definitely categorizes more of a pitcher's duel.
So we're we got someone on the sidelines keeping the balls dry.
Yeah. Foul ball. So I didn't know how to mention this, but Nicole Cosgrove, the Bel Air coach, is a fifth-year coach, and she is assisted by Chris Bosley, fifth year also, and Tim Hilliard is first year. Don't know which ones are teachers or which ones aren't. I think both head coaches work in the county. I think Carrie is a traveling teacher specialist, and I think Nicole said she just came from the middle school or somewhere, so that's why she wasn't here quite as early. People don't realize how tough it is to coach if you're not a teacher and fit it in your schedule, but even if you are a teacher, you got to wrap up your classroom. That's a nice hit ball taken by the first baseman. So we do have our first
three up and 3 down inning.
So that was our first baseman, Jaden Betters, calmly made that play.
He's one of the seniors that was honored before the game.
Yeah, these days a lot of high school sports get to play under the lights, 6:45 games, this and that. Softball and baseball have mostly 3:30 after school games. So these are the games that mom and dad have to
take off
work. My dad used to call it comp time. Like, he wouldn't be taking a whole day, he wouldn't even be taking a half day, but he'd have to get permission to leave 2 hours early, which would be a quarter day. And that's not always easy for everybody with their jobs.
No, it's not. And I don't know how my parents did it. There were 3 of us in high school at one time, all playing sports, and they never missed a game.
Yes, I was very lucky. My mom came to pretty much everything. She worked at the schools we were at usually, and she was our school baker. I never took advantage of that.
School baker?
I never took advantage of that, Barb. Never.
I didn't know we had such a thing as a school baker.
Oh, yeah. She worked in the cafeteria, and she made those really good peanut butter cookies that everybody always fought over. So, yeah, I would go down and give her the look. Mom, you have any leftover peanut butter cookies that you need eaten?
Probably not, if they were that good.
No, she gave me some. I was very popular in my classes after lunch, I just called my mom out for sneaking me peanut butter cookies in high school and middle school, folks. Yeah, we're celebrating my mom's birthday tonight, Barb, right after this. So
very good.
Very lucky that mom is with us at 87 years old. My dad, too, at 90. So I love it, Barb, when the person that makes a good play at the end of one inning leads off the next.
I was just thinking that, too.
Jaden
It
Betters.
happens more often than...
Yeah, doesn't it seem like that?
Yeah.
So Hayden struck out last time. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning here, folks, and it's a 1-0 lead for Fallston. Bel Air is wanting to get on the board here for the first time, but our pitcher, Matty Burns, is doing a great job. And that's just
out of play.
So, Barb, the last game I was at...
The fan wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, the last game I was at for baseball at Aberdeen, your old stomping grounds, their field had a lot of foul territory. They had that set up where the fence changed and went diagonal to the right, and it allowed the first and third baseman more territory to strike out again there for a pitcher. Gave the first and third baseman more territory to go get balls. Here, our lines are pretty narrow.
They are narrow. There's not a lot of room.
And that has to do with the structure of the field. We have hills on the right and left of the field here. And to the third base side, we go up to the beautiful stadium. And so let me count up here what I have here. I have 1, 2, 3... I have 6 strikeouts already. I think, no, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 5th strikeout for our pitcher. So Ava Vecchione is up for the second time. Neither pitcher's had to throw a ton of pitches so far. You know.
No, you're right. We have not had many full count.
We've had runners on the base, and Bel Air has also gotten a runner on every inning. So similar to the last inning, Fallston would like to see if they can get their first 3 up, 3 down. You see here, Barb, the pitcher does a little rattle again I was mentioning before. Athletes have routines that they do, and a lot of sports have them. I don't like all batting stances, Barb. I mean, there's one of the Oriole batters does a technique where they lean back really far.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
I do.
Mountcastle, our first baseman.
Yeah.
And then right when the pitcher goes in a windup, he leans back forward. And hey, if it works for him, great. But it's amazing what one little thing can do. I think that's a strike, yes. That looked like a great called strike. Just one thing can change it. So, folks, I sometimes make reference to other sports or a pro team. So one of the batters on the Orioles, Mateo, shortstop, last year he had a hard time with outside breaking pitches and so forth. So he used to do a high leg kick. They said all he did was switch from a high leg kick to a toe tap, and it kept him engaged more. Have you had coaches give you little switches like that before, or were you able to pick up on one of them and try things on your own to see what worked for you?
No, I haven't done it, but those of us who grew up watching Cal Ripken, it seemed like he had a different batting stance every year, because he was trying to just, tweak this or tweak that, or and I've always said it doesn't really matter how you start.
Right.
It's when that pitch comes in, what's your batting position? Are you ready for the pitch? And most of the time, no matter how they start, that pitch comes in and they're ready to hit it.
They have so much more technology these days, though, for information to give the batters. And the reason that they said that they had Mateo's change that was they were like, his upper half wasn't keeping up with his bottom half. So whatever that means to baseball and softball players. So the reason they did the toe tap is he had enough upper body strength to react better by doing that. I don't think softball players have time for a high leg kick very often. The pitchers are so close and they're throwing so fast at you that I think you just better be ready. Foul ball again. Batters are having a hard time catching up to her right now.
Yeah, they are. But they're still staying aggressive, which I like to see.
Third baseman's in pretty far, but so is the first baseman.
The pitcher's ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
That ball's into the
That's
gap.
hit.
That's over.
Center fielder is going back. It's in the hole.
It's easily 2.
All
Will
right.
they go 3?
Oh, she is going 3. She's being aggressive. Very nice.
She was able to come in standing up. That was Sophia Gallahue, our pitcher, helping herself out there.
The center fielder did a good job hitting the cutoff, and the throw was just a little bit wide to third.
Yeah, but she had some speed there,
Yeah,
Barb.
she didn't slow down at all.
No.
And you know what? With 2 outs, I think I would have tried it too.
Well, you know your own speed, and she trusts her speed there. And
You know, it's getting late in the game. And if the rain comes, you know, there's only.
okay, we have a courtesy runner here, number 5, going in for our pitcher, and that is Addison Hessler, sophomore. Yeah, we have
Is that the first extra base hit for Bel Air?
no, they had a double for
Oh, that's right.
Kirsten
That's right.
Coppage to lead off the game, but she was stranded. So let's see if we can get a 2-out hit here from Maddie Waters to bring her in. And the pitcher being aggressive and putting one right down the middle of the plate.
Might be a pitch she'd like to have back, because I don't know if she'll get one that good again.
I know. The pitch that they keep track of the most in softball and baseball is the first pitch. It's so vital to get ahead of the batter. You know, you totally changes the at-bat. If you have that first strike, you might get them swinging at a ball after that. Good block.
A little bit low, yep. Yeah, catcher's got to make sure she doesn't let those go by with a runner at third to tie the game.
Yeah, I'm going to say anything that gets away from her even halfway, Sophia's scoring. The speed she just showed on that triple.
Okay, so it's a 3-1 count.
So Maddie walked the last time, so she showed a good eye that at bat as well. Let's see if she works a walk here or she makes contact.
Nice pitch.
So now we got a full count.
With 2 outs, the runner's not necessarily running because the bases, she's the lone runner at third. There's a good take.
So
Low and inside, good eye.
you got a walk here 2 times on base for Maddie. I was kind of watching Barb. Rick Morris, who moved from being over behind first base to now he's over behind third base because of where the runner is. And so now I've watched him glance over at Sophia multiple times to make sure she's not leaving before the pitch is released. And it was a hard foul ball there.
Yeah, that one didn't fool her.
So that's Anna Tackett, and she flew out, popped out the last at bat. She was way ahead of that one.
Another first and third situation, Ray. We've had a few of those today.
Yeah, yep.
With 2 outs, runner at third. She might be staying put at first.
High. So you got your number 8 batter here. So they have a little conference.
Yeah, it looked like the pitcher's trying to overthrow a little bit on that last pitch.
Coach is coming out, probably the pitching coach for them, and basically probably trying to calm her down and say, you got this girl out last at bat, just go at her. You don't want to let the 8-9 batters on and bring back the top of the order again. So you got the whole infield out there, Barb, conferencing.
Yeah, and the pitcher's going through her motion. I don't know if she's injured or if she's just trying to work something out.
Yeah, it could be something because that coach popped out of that dugout very quickly. So that's when, as an athlete, you got to be honest with your coaches.
And none of them ever are.
Right. I mean,
They don't want to come out of the game.
Right. We've often been there where we've been like, Coach, I'm fine. And then when you go grab the ice pack, as soon as the game's over, you're getting the evil eye from the coach.
All right, so we got a 1-1 count with 2 outs, runners at first and third.
big part of the game here in the bottom of the fourth inning here.
There's a good strike.
Geez.
Didn't look like anything was wrong on that pitch.
No. So they're going over all the scenarios here when they were at the mound too. So while they were checking on the pitcher, they're talking about where they're going to go, where the ball's hit. Middle infield, you hope to shuffle the ball to the other middle infielder and get the force out. That was a great snag by our catcher.
Good catch, yeah. That was high and outside, and hopefully she expected it there, but maybe not quite that high and outside.
Yeah, Sarah saved a run there for sure by snagging that ball.
And she is calling her own game. The catcher is for Fallston. Bel Air's bench is calling their game.
Yeah, bring it here. Yep.
There you go.
And right before that pitch, she was swinging that arm around like she's trying to loosen up that shoulder or something, Barb. So we had a very nice triple in the middle of that inning by Sophia Gallahue, but she's stranded again, and we had 2 more left on base. So unfortunately for Bel Air, they've got 6 runners left on in 4 innings. So they're doing an incredible job. They're just not quite getting the clutch 2-out hit in these at-bats. So folks, at the end of 4 innings here, we have a 1-0 game here, Fallston. And as I said before, Bel Air has 3 hits and 6 left on. And Fallston, they've been able to scratch out that 1 run, Barb. And so far it's holding up, and they have 5 left on base and 3 hits.
Yeah, I think that's the difference. Is getting those runners around. They're both getting runners on. They're just having trouble getting them around.
So we are back to, let me see here. I think we're at the top of the order here. I think we're going to have Tricia Armstrong coming up again. It's ironic. I think she has led off like twice now, and that's what you want to see. Actually, she's led off 3 times.
Well, she started the game leading off. She is the leadoff.
She led off the 3rd, and now she's leading off the 5th. So that's kind of a nice, lucky thing for the coaching staff.
It is, yep.
So they definitely want to get a tackle run here. They've only got to get, 9 more outs, and that's a pop-up in an awkward spot. Let's see who calls it.
Got it. There you go.
Good job.
One-handed catch again, Ray. But she handled it nicely.
I will give her this. It is a little bit harder to catch it with 2 hands running in.
When you're running in,
yes.
Yeah.
Because
you're
pumping
perched underneath it, it's easy.
Mm-hmm. So that was a quick out, and that's what the pitcher needs. So we have Sarah Frisk coming up, and Sarah singled her first at bat and stole second, and then struck out in her second at bat.
Well, you'll enjoy this. She likes math and science, right?
Yeah, I like the first half of the part.
Oh, that's right. You didn't like.
I didn't like the science part.
The science part, and plans to study engineering in college.
I ended up doing very well in the science classes in college. I just didn't do as well in high school. That's a nice hit ball. You got to keep that in front of you. Oops, she bobbled it slightly, but she got it in there quickly. Sarah's 2 for 3 now. That was very solid. That's her second solid hit ball of the game. She doesn't mess around. I think she got her single in the first inning pretty early in the count too.
Yeah, she's looking for those nice, fat, juicy strikes. Mm-hmm. That's what you want to do as a batter. You want to go up there and hit the good strikes, not the pitcher strikes.
So let's see if she's going to steal again. I'm guessing yes. I don't mean get the steal, attempt to steal. So let's see what our catcher can do here.
She stays.
That's a ground ball.
No, it's going to be a tough play. Nobody's at second. Okay, she's going to go to third.
She's taking third.
And she's safe.
Wow. Some aggressive base running there. So that was one of those tough situations. So the first base and second baseman are talking it over now. The second baseman does need to cover there, but she wasn't playing close to first base when the ball was initially hit. But she is needed to get over there, though.
And it's possible she could have been the one charged with covering second for the steal. So in
Yes,
that case, she
yes.
may have not known which way to go.
So they got a golden opportunity here.
And
She's
she is
running and
running.
she's holding the throw.
That's probably wise.
So we got
Down by one with a runner at third.
Abby Marmon also had a single today in her second at bat, so she's 1 for 2. So right now, Barb, you just want to put the ball in play on the ground at least, or a long fly ball.
You don't want to strike out and you don't want to pop up to the infield.
Right.
That's a nice
That's
change up.
Yeah, that I think that one took her by surprise. It's one of the first change-ups I've seen.
Yeah, we haven't seen many of them. And it's a little gutsy with the runner at third. You know, if it comes in the dirt and the catcher can't stop it, you have to have a lot of confidence in that pitch. And she threw it again. This one was a little outside.
So let me see if the batter can recognize what's happening here. She's throwing outside pitches. So, yes, you take the balls, but you would like to hit a ground ball to the right side and get that runner in from third. Our first baseman can definitely come home if it's to her. Nice job pulling that back.
That almost looked like a fake bunt.
Yeah, she did start to bunt.
And she might do it again. Ahead in the count 3-1. What I would always do is crowd the plate. You know, if you're up in the count, crowd the plate. Make it look a little smaller for the pitcher.
First baseman's playing close enough to come home with it. So we got the bases loaded here. I can't tell, Barbara, that almost looked like a pitch around. Like cleanup hitter.
I think I have to agree with you, Ray.
Could you get my wife to do that?
Nope, you're on your own on that one.
You know my wife,
But the pitchers had such good control all day, and those were definitely 3 balls and probably intentional.
So we got 1 out, bases loaded, Fallston up by 1 here in the top of the 5th inning. So this is a huge part of the game here.
That was a good pitch. It tried to come back in, and it stayed on the outside.
So you have 2 schools of thought here, Barb. First strike, you swing at it, be aggressive, but it is a 1-0 count. So do you make her throw you a strike?
We were always, old school. She walked the batter in front of you.
Yes.
The bases are loaded. There's 1 out. You wait and see a strike. That's old school. Now, if you do happen to have your best batter at the plate and is looking for that nice fat strike.
Especially if you know they're a contact hitter. If you know they're a contact hitter and they can drive the ball, then you know you'll probably have a good chance of at least 1 on a sac fly. But and I will tell you, Alicia has flown out to the outfield twice so far. So
she might get the green light
here
with 2 balls.
Now I'm taking all the way.
Yes, you're definitely taking on this one.
So excellent job of the catcher here. I love seeing the fact that Amelia Mason has called time and went out to talk to her pitcher, calm her down. Tell her, you could throw strikes. You've already struck out many batters. Just bring it to me.
And the infield's playing in, Ray, so they can get that force at home if they can.
She's already struck out 4 batters, but now she forces in a run with a walk.
And 4 straight balls. So.
Yeah. So I'm trying to see here if the coaching staff has anybody to warm up.
Well, they do have another pitcher, but she's in the game.
She's in the game fielding, yes.
Yeah, she's in the game.
So big part of the game here. 1 out, 2-run lead, 1 base hit breaks this game open a little bit late in the game.
There's a nice
That's
strike.
the pitch she was throwing earlier a lot. You got the coaches telling her it's the right thing to do, just hit that spot that you were hitting before. The first baseman is in very far. So if she hits a ground ball to her, it doesn't get by her. Second baseman's in too. So
they're all in. Shortstop's in.
Yeah, they're coming home. That was fouled. Now, remind me if what would you say the score was the last time these two teams played, Barb?
7-1. Fallston won 7-1.
Okay.
But that was early in the season. It was in April.
Mm-hmm. Big pitch coming up here, folks. We need pitcher needs to keep it in the strike zone. She's had 2 walks this inning. She went from a 3-up, 3-down last inning, Barb, to 4 base runners this inning. Shows you how quickly the game can change. If you can get through this without any more runs scored, wouldn't be surprised me if she can shut them down in the last 2 innings.
Oh, that's in the hole between first and second.
She's going to have
coming into
2
third.
runners coming in.
2 runners coming in.
So that was a single by situation is the way I say that. That was Allie Underwood who got that single. And if you really think about it, if the infield's not drawn in, they might field that. But you have to bring the infield in.
Yeah, they could field it and get an out. Probably not an out at home. But you're right. I think if they were playing at the normal depth, they could have gotten out.
But that's good hitting by Allie. I mean, she slapped that ball to the right side, and she knew she had a pretty good chance if she hits it hard enough to get it by them or make it hard to field.
Still only 1 out.
And we have runners on first and second. The runner that came home was very aggressive on that last one was Maddie Burns.
And that one's out of play.
Or actually it was Abby. So now we have a 4-0 game. So Sarah scored on the first one and on the walk, and then on that one, Maddie Burns came home from third, and Abby Marmon came home from second. Popped out of play.
So she's ahead 0-2.
So this is Olivia Rutella back up to bat. Hoping to get her first hit for the day and try and extend this rally. Now you have a force out at third. Third baseman gets a ground ball so you can just step on the bag. Obviously we had force outs everywhere before this batter, but right now you don't have to worry about the runner on third.
It's starting to rain again, Ray.
Yeah, and being that this is the top of the 5th, Fallston would need to get 3 outs before giving up 4 runs, and if this game can't continue, it could be called an official game at the end of 5, like you pointed out earlier. Foul ball again.
She's doing a good job keeping herself alive. She's fouling off a lot of pitches.
So was it irritating to you playing in the rain more as a batter or a pitcher?
Probably pitcher.
Gripping the ball?
It's tough to keep the ball dry. You know, she holds it outside. I would always put it in my glove so the glove would keep it dry.
Mm-hmm.
Another one fouled back.
She was hoping, catcher was hoping that ball was going to stay in play, but nope. So you got a little game going here between the catcher, coach, and the umpire. Dry the ball off, throw a new one out, the old one out, throw the new one in, umpire store one. That's another good ball.
Oh,
that's
it hit the batter.
It's
That's an out.
automatic
Automatic out. And a dead ball.
Runners have to return. The runner from second has to return back to second.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that would have been a base hit right there, don't you think?
I don't know.
No.
The
It would have been
second baseman was in position to field it.
I think it would have been an out at first.
Would have been an out at first.
Because the runner going to second had a good break. That would have been a tough transition. So we got a little bit of a lucky situation there for the pitcher. Really the only difference is there would have been an out at first. The difference is there would have been runners in second, third instead of first and second.
Right. So they still have the force at any base.
Yes. So now we have Grace Clark up here, I think, at for her third at bat. And she got on by an error in the first inning. But she struck the ball both times. And our catcher's getting a little bit of a workout here, doing a great job keeping everything in front of her. It's Amelia Mason.
Grace is involved in many clubs at school. The varsity club, Spanish club, service club, best buddies.
Got a strike there. Just outside.
That's close.
Going to have to shield my
Me too, I'm
scorebook
trying.
here.
I do think the umpire is doing a very good job being consistent.
Definitely. You haven't heard anybody complain yet.
Nope.
The best mark of a good job umping or roughing is when nobody has to acknowledge them. So we got a walk here.
Bases loaded again.
Brings up our number 9 batter, Megan Watts.
Yeah, I don't think she's intentionally throwing those high. I think her release point might be just a little bit off.
Mm-hmm.
They always told me try to take a shorter step. If you're consistently throwing the ball high, take a shorter step.
The foul ball here. Very big part of the game here. I mean, they get one base hit here, and they're busting this game open. And Fallston pitcher seems to have the game pretty controlled right now. Out of play again. Fighting the ball off very well. I'm so glad I grabbed my son's hooded jacket here. Okay. Got a strike 3 there. Barb, you just complimented an umpire, and I think he is doing an amazing job. But I think the strike zone might have just grown a little bit.
Maybe.
For strike 3.
You might be right.
In the fact that it's raining pretty steadily now. And I don't blame him
Yeah,
too much. So I'm going to count up
Tough
here.
day for the fans.
I have 3 hits that inning and 3 runs. And there was also a couple walks. So at the end of 4.5 innings, folks, we have a 4-0 lead for Fallston. So we really need you got a new pitcher, Barb?
Yeah, number 19 for Fallston.
Mm-hmm. So that would be coming in from third base. So let's see if our pitcher moves to third base or if she comes out and somebody else comes in. So our pitcher was Maddie Burns, and she looks like she's going to third base. So it looks like we just have a 2-way switch. No, let me see here. Where's she going?
Where is she going? She's running to the outfield now.
Maddie, you're
Center field, I think.
Maddie's going to center
field.
Okay, so I'm going to change Maddie to center field, and I'm going to change our third baseman, Allie, to pitcher. And
and even though the Fallston pitcher has a game well in control, I think this is what Fallston does. I think last time they played Bel Air, they switched pitchers after 4 innings.
So who is our new third baseman? Is that our previous center fielder?
I'm trying to see the number.
think that might be her.
Alicia Rowe.
There you go. Get there. Get there.
Nice grab. Oh, just got by the first baseman, backed up by the catcher. Excellent job by the catcher to get all the way downfield.
The ball was a little bit in the dirt, but she did a good job blocking it.
So I just had a fan tell me that our catcher and pitcher currently there right now are club teammates.
Oh.
It's always nice to have that connection.
Yeah, you got to have a very good relationship between the pitcher and the catcher.
So that base hit was by Lizzie Tarsona, and she is looking like she wants to run, Barb. Getting good lead off.
She's getting a good lead.
Let's see if she get good sprint stance. Oh, see. So we have our. See who got that. Is that Lizzie on first base?
I put everything away, Ray. It was getting wet.
Trying to see if we have a
Let
new
me see.
batter here.
No.
No.
This is the pitcher.
This is our pitcher
Yeah.
batting, yes.
Ooh, nice play
Nice
at
force
second.
out.
Yep. The throw barely beat her.
Our designated hitter for the catcher threw me off on my scoreboard. So that is a ground out, force out.
Looks like we may have a designate courtesy runner, maybe.
Okay, we have a courtesy runner for. So I think we have Abby Wizard coming up again. See if my hood works over my headset here.
Mine did, thank God. Had to work it a little bit, but I got it to work.
So Abby got a single last time at bat. Very well struck. Do we have a chance? Nope.
Oh, she did. The second baseman wasn't at second.
I thought we were going to have our first chance at a double play,
Yeah, I
but
thought so. She quickly readjusted and went to first and got the out. That was a smart play, being up 4-0.
so it's really going to be tough to get a double play unless the ball is really hit hard. I mean, slow hit balls, you don't going to see many of them. That ball is.
Oh, it's dropped. Everybody's safe.
Now I'm surprised she threw over.
Well, I
because-
think the batter thought she caught the ball, so I think she may have slowed down a little bit.
Okay.
It was actually a pretty close play at first.
So now we have 2 runners on base.
Another first and third. We do have 2 outs.
Trying to look at the
God.
skies here, Barb, to see if we see any clearance coming again.
You see some blue sky up there.
So it looks like it's going to probably pass over us soon. So we're hoping. And I know Bel Air is hoping because they don't want this game to get called after 5. They want to get the full game in here. That was a nice pitch. I didn't see if he called that a strike, Barb, but I don't know if that was slightly low or not.
I thought it was a little low and outside.
Okay.
That's, you know,
The outside part, I thought he's been giving him, but I think that ball dropped a little bit too much. Now that everybody's got to be running. Is this going to be a
That's
no-move
down.
lane? Yes.
I was in the gap.
Got our first run here.
Fine, a two out single to bring in a run.
So now we have 4-1 game by bottom of the 5th inning here, and we have runners on first and second. And that single was by Jaden Betters. And now we have our number 5 batter, Ava Vecchione, coming up. See if she can get something going here. Reached out and got that. And a good job catching that ball by our second baseman. And that was, I think it's still Grace Clark over at second base. I don't think we have as many switches on their lineup. So we'll have to see. So let's see if they're coming out here right away. So right there, that was a 3-hit inning, Barb. So, but unfortunately, they were only able to manufacture 1 run. because they had a couple fielder's choices too. But that's a good sign for them
they're
going
on
forward.
the board. They got a little momentum.
So now we come to the top of the 6th inning for Fallston. And Barb, you're not going to believe it.
No.
Tricia Armstrong is
leading
leading
off
off
again?
again. Tricia, you got a little bit of fortune on your side here today. The four at bats, and you get to lead off the inning each time. So let's see if she can get on base here. Isn't it amazing how there's a little bit of fortune in sports? Like, you get those 3 hits earlier and you don't have a couple fielder's choices, and that could be a big inning. But because they hit a couple balls and got fielder's choices and the lead runners were out, they only got 1 run out of that. It's not too often that you get 3 hits and all those runners on base and you only score 1.
Right, and then they had people on base early. It wasn't necessarily with 2 outs.
Mm-hmm. So here we go. Fallston wanting to get a little bit of tack-on runs here in the top of the 6th inning. And I'm starting to see some sun peeking out, and I'm liking
the
it.
rain stopped a little bit.
Oh, a little bit outside and wild, but
Yeah, that one looked like the ball might have been wet.
she's pointing that out to the umpire and saying, needing a new dry one. This could be a factor for the fielders too after a while, Barb. If they can't keep them dry enough.
It couldn't. It generally, if you keep it in the infield, that probably won't be an issue. But it rolls around out in the outfield with the wet grass. It could be tricky.
Especially on the throws into the
Right.
bases. Foul ball. Wow, that was a hard line drive down the line.
He called it an illegal pitch.
Now, what would be the reason for that?
Well, I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything.
I mean, does she have to come set differently? Does she have to start
No,
her
I don't-
wind up a certain way?
No, usually an illegal pitch for softball is that you're either jumping off the mound, you're not
Okay.
keeping that back foot touching the mound. But I haven't seen anything
Okay,
all for the whole game that looked illegal.
it's a walk. So Tricia has been on 500. She has a 500 on base percentage today. So you got Sarah Frist coming up, and she is 2 for 3 with a steal. Oh,
That
was
one gets in the gap.
and the runner's going to hold a second. Well-placed single. Sarah Frist is having quite a day with 3 for 4. At least one of the runs scored, a stolen base. So with 2 on, nobody out, top of the 6th inning, leading 4-1. If Maddie Burns is a good bunter, do you consider it just to manufacture 1 or 2 more insurance runs?
If she makes good contact, yes.
Okay.
I mean, that's always.
I mean, I know
always
she's
an
your number
option.
3 batter, and she has walked and had a single, but still, 3 runs is a great situation with two more at bats for the other team.
She's also one of the leading RBI hitters for Fallston, so that's a tough one. I might let her bat. And just as I say that, she scores around a bunt.
Sometimes they make us look prophetic, Barb, and sometimes they don't. I always thank the athletes, and I say, I think that she's going to probably do this or he's going to do that, and they do it. I'm like, see, I know what I'm talking about sometimes. That was a high pitch.
It's 3-0.
So,
outs.
green light, or the pitcher looks like they're a little bit wild. Take
No,
the
I
pitch.
think I would take this pitch.
Some coaches have a totally different philosophy between 3-0 and 3-1. You know, they often are like, got to throw the first strike. Once she throws the first strike, if you trust your batter, yeah, you can swing away 3-1.
Yeah, but you also you're swinging away at 3-1, but you're not swinging at anything. You want to swing at
Right.
a nice pitch to hit.
Well,
Well, that one started outside and came back in.
so I don't know the speed of both of these runners, even though one of them has a stolen base. Trying to see here if you've ever seen a double steal, a 3-2 count with a batter with a good eye. Do you send them on a 3-2 count ever because you know this is your number 3 batter and they don't strike out a lot?
With no outs, I wouldn't.
Okay.
Maybe 2 outs, maybe.
You're seeing two different strategies here, fans. I like the aggression. Barb's being a little bit more logical. Some people would call that smart. I've never been accused of being smart all the time, but I like aggression once in a while.
I think the double steal, though, would catch Bel Air sleeping a little bit. I don't think they would necessarily expect it.
I know that's more of a baseball thing because the bases are further. That should be out of play, but can it be caught? Almost. Got a glove on it. So now the catcher's job is really important too. Keep this ball in front of you. Don't let anything get by. You don't want the runners to move up. Now, when you say the catchers call the game, are they getting input in between innings from the coaches, though? I mean, still like, hey, these 3 batters are coming up. This one's really struggled with the fastball. Go at them. That ball's really hit. That ball's really hit.
Oh, stayed in.
The fence.
Stayed in.
So runners.
All the runners are running.
So the runner goes home. And believe it or not, folks, the runners had to partially hold up on that because as well struck as that ball was, the left fielder got back to the fence.
Yeah, she did. They had to make sure it wasn't caught. And there was no out, so it's not like there were 2 outs and they were running on contact.
So I think they did well with that. I mean, the runner from second got home. The runner from first got the third.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't going to score on that with the fence being there. The fence stopped that ball. That was a very far hit ball, Barb. I don't know what the fence distance is here, but
Yeah, I was looking for it, but I don't see a distance out there.
and like I said, Barb, she definitely should not have bunted. I told you that. You weren't. I'm just kidding. Barb's like, you better watch it. I know that you didn't say that. My family gets mad at me when we go to the Orioles, and I'm like always calling for the bunt. And I'm just a fan of the little game in baseball and softball. But so that must have tipped the bat, Barb.
Yeah, I think you're right because the other umpire's around the third base side, so he can't really call the check swing.
No, because she didn't swing. But might have caught the other side. Now they are squeeze bunt. Wow, they're going home and they're taking me out at first. Now educate me here. Is that squeeze or suicide squeeze? I always get the difference. Is it suicide squeeze?
I couldn't tell if the runner was running on the pitch.
Okay.
If the runner's running on the pitch, it's a suicide. If she waits until she sees the ball down, then it's a squeeze.
So
And they call it a suicide because if the runner's running and the batter doesn't make contact, the
Yes,
catcher
then
just has to stand there and tag you out.
So I don't think they put it on the scoreboard yet, but I think we're up to 6-1 now.
Yes.
So now I just talked to you about loving little ball, so that was very exciting for me. That was Abby Marmon with the squeeze bunt there to get the run in and sacrifice herself, and the other runner moved down to third. And
It was just off the corner.
according to my scorebook here, there's only 1 out still, so all it takes is a sac fly or ground ball or a pass ball, and you have another run here. It'd be interesting to see if they would consider doing it again.
Well, she did square the first, and then she squared
And
again.
she
there.
does it again,
She
but
does
the
put
runner
the runner's
holds.
holding. And the runner took off on the
Yes.
throw.
So another sac bunt. And
I'm impressed with the bunting for Fallston.
Yes.
They're well executed.
so we have now taken a 4-1 game to a 7-1 game, if I'm not mistaken. And I really loving the little ball. And the runner on third there that scored, I think that was Maddie Burns. She literally came in just enough that they couldn't throw behind her because she saw where the third baseman was playing, who also had to come in for the bunt. And then she waited for the throw, and then she broke home. Do you call that an error of judgment in the field there, where you would have maybe held that ball and looked back at the runner on third, or do you have to take the out?
It's a tough one. I think you got to take the out.
Okay. So now Bel Air's got their work cut out for them. The 6 more outs to try to get 6 runs. It's a good pitch. Fallston's showing some versatility. They can hit the ball hard. Their pitcher's pitching very well. They can play the little ball game. I mean, those were well executed bunts.
They were, and then prior to this inning, they really weren't playing small ball.
Right.
I mean, they might bunt it here or there, but that was consistent.
I mean, when I called for some little ball, I didn't expect that much. But so we've got a strike out there to end that inning. That was Allie Underwood. So you're getting a little bit of a coach talk to Bel Air right now. They're basically probably trying to pep them up and saying, pick your heads up. And so we had walk and a single and a double in that inning, but we scored 3 runs out of that. So that was very big.
And ironically, I don't know if the score will hold up, but this is the score when they played in April, the same score.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to the bottom of the 6th inning here, folks, with a 7-1 lead for Fallston. And in that time, Fallston has 7 hits, but they've walked a lot too. And they've been well-timed hits because they've had 2 3-run innings. And, you group a couple walks and some hits and some sacrifice, squeeze bunts, and so forth in there. And their pitcher's doing a great job. So I have that wrong here. Let me get these hits. They have 8 hits. But they've also left on base 9 runners.
Wow.
So this game could be a lot more lopsided than it is. So let's see what Bel Air can do here. And they've got Sophia Gallahoo leading off here. So far in this game, Bel Air has been held to 1 run on 7 hits. But they too have left a lot of runners on Barb.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they would have gotten a few more convenient hits, timely hits, this game could be closer. And you know what, folks? Bel Air is losing 7-1 in the bottom of the 6th inning, and it hasn't dampened their spirit. They're still over there cheering. Think about it, Barb. Some of these seniors, they have less than a month of school.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Their high school is about coming to an end. I don't know when all the graduations are, but some of them are in late May, some of them are in early June. That ball could be tough.
Trouble. That's trouble. That's going to fall.
So that was that ball hit like directly in line with the shortstop and a little bit harder to read.
Yeah, that's we call that no man's land.
Yeah.
Nobody can get to it. It's not hit hard. It's just hitting in the right spot. Now let's see if they play a little small ball. I mean, you're only down 6. You wouldn't, but it worked for Fallston.
Depends on the batter usually, and you know what? Maddie Waters is up, and she's walked both times. So she has shown the ability to work the walk, but let's see if our pitcher knows that and says, I got to go at her. That pitch looked like the one that was a strike earlier in the game.
I thought that was a strike. But she does have a good eye.
Mm-hmm. That's
It's just foul.
just foul, and the runner had a good break on that. It's one of those ones the third baseman was like, thank you for going foul, because that would have been a tough play to get the batter.
Yeah, that would have been tough to make a play anywhere.
Yeah. Got the strikeout. This is 7th strikeout for the pitcher. Barb, that's a pretty good day.
Well, we switched pitchers, remember?
Oh, my bad. That's
yeah,
right.
we switched pitchers last inning.
Well, 7 strikeout for the pitching staff.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's pretty good.
It's like the batters, and let me see if she changes her grip. Well, that was weird. She was doing some practice
Yeah,
swings.
she chokes up
really
when she does a
choked up.
practice swing.
Outside.
And I noticed this pitcher's been hugging the outside of the plate. That's where the majority of her pitches have been.
I'm not sure if Anna Tackett's on the soccer team or not, but I know her dad coached her in soccer. And we do have her running down. And she's going to go to third. And she's picking up the ball. So we have a steal for Sophia. And Sophia's had a line out, a triple, a single, and a stolen base. So very productive day. So now with a runner on third and 1 down, Anna has a chance to drive her in and get this game a little bit closer. Got to get 1 run at a time.
Yeah, and I like the strategy, you know, test the catcher, steal a base and see if she can throw you out.
Job making contact. Got one of our cameramen picking up the foul ball down the third base line.
All right, Ray, the sun might come out here soon.
Got to get our body temperatures up. Come on, folks, it's May. Let's start getting warmer. How did it chase an outside pitch
Yeah,
there?
that was way outside, but she chased it. That was a good pitch.
So now we've got our number 9 batter, Lizzie Sarzona, again coming up, freshman third baseman, and she had a very solid single last at bat. So, Barb, that's one of those situations where when Anna was up, if this is a 1-run, 2-run game, you might play little ball and bunt her in. But with 6 runs down, you need every base runner
You
can
need
get.
base runners. You do.
And Barb, you were a prophet that time. As soon as you said it, the sun came out. So
Still some raindrops falling, though.
say it's not going to rain anymore. And maybe you'll
I'm
be
waiting
right.
for the rainbow.
So that could be a tough sun for the some of the outfielders to look into when it comes out that bright.
Yeah,
Wow.
if you're on the left side of the field,
Mhm.
could be tough. Another outside pitch.
Great job. So we get to the coming to the top of the 7th inning here. So we're done 6 innings, folks, and it's a 7-1 game. And we got one thing, Barb, but we're not getting the other working for us. So we got the sunshine come out, but now we have what's called a sun shower, folks. The rain is picking up as we go.
It's light, though. I think it's
Yeah.
going to stop. Sun feels good.
So I have down here, Barb, that we're going to be coming to Olivia Rotella, our left fielder, coming up for her 4th at bat. She's 0 for 3 today, but she's hit the ball twice. Wow, pitcher's quitting me a little scare. Throwing a wild pitch at us, Barb.
So Trisha Armstrong's not leading off? Say it isn't so.
I know, they didn't work it out for us like they're supposed to. So Olivia is a sophomore, and as we said, they have a few freshmen in the lineup, 3 freshmen and a sophomore. You see that more often, folks, in girls' sports. You see girls as freshmen and sophomore able to make the varsity. It is also a thing that's a little bit easier to do for the bigger schools like Bel Air. You know, they have the numbers of athletes that come out. So I think we have a rainbow coming up on the left here by the stadium. That's nice to see. Barb, everything you've been asking for lately has
I
been
know.
happening. You got any numbers in your head?
I should think bigger, I think.
You got some numbers in your head I should look at for
Oh,
Lotto?
there it is. I see it.
So we have our 8-9 batters coming up here. Our 7-8-9, bottom of the order. So with a 7-1 lead, they'll take any runs they can get the tackle on here, but see if our pitcher here can get a shutdown inning.
Pitcher's behind 2 balls.
Foul ball, the backstop. That ball earlier, Barb, hitting that fence like that, that wasn't far from going out.
It wasn't. You know, back in our day, we didn't have a fence.
Yeah, you just had
so
to
the
keep
ball just
chasing.
rolled and rolled and rolled.
Had to get speed and power home runs. Hit those gappers and let the legs work. Outside. My brother was a really good baseball player, and I used to go watch some of his games after my track practices. And yeah, you didn't have fences for baseball either, and people would hit gappers, and that's when you'd see the triples and the home runs.
Mm-hmm.
And the arms. That's when you got to see the outfielders' arms and good relays. So we have a walk there for leading off for Olivia Rotella. And now we come to Grace Clark, and Grace has gotten on with an error, and she's also walked. So it'll be interesting to see if Fallston would run with a 7-1 lead, or if they play any little ball, if they get the runner on second base. You don't want to get back to the top of the order, that's for sure.
And I think the runner at first base just saw the rainbow.
So I think we've had some fielding switches here that we haven't been able to keep up with, but Bobcats look like they might have some new infielders that I haven't seen. Can't quite see the numbers.
Bunt gets down, and just lets it
Let
go
it go
foul. It was a good play. It would have been tough if she had fielded it in play.
So it looks like Bel Air number 12 is was our designated batter before. Maddie Waters is now playing third base. And I want to see if I can see the numbers of our shortstop and second base to see if they're the same or not, Barb.
Yeah, the shortstop was the third baseman,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes. So is this the coach getting a little bit of playing time for your designated hitter? Last inning, let's give her a little experience at third base.
Yeah, and she's a senior.
Mm-hmm.
So, on senior day,
Yeah.
that's probably what we're seeing.
Nice
Good
pitch.
pitch. The runner's going.
But nobody's there.
Nobody's covering second. Oh, she thought about going to third and made the right decision to stay put because the center fielder
It was a good
was
backup.
backing up. Yep.
So that's okay. And we come to Megan Watts, our right fielder. I'm going to say I'm assuming our right fielder still. At the end of the games here, folks, we get a lot more movement on position changes. Nice pitch. It's a nice cut there. Nice swing.
Got 2 down and a runner at second.
So we're back to our leadoff batter, Tricia Armstrong, who's had a pretty productive day. She's had a single and a walk, a steal, at least 1 run scored. So you got a runner at second base. You'd love to get an RBI here. Foul ball down the right field line. It's a little late on the swing.
Still being aggressive, though, late in the game, up by 6. I'm sure she'd like to get that runner in from second.
I think we've had all 4 seasons during this game,
I
Barb.
think we have.
Yeah,
No, I'm still waiting for summer, Ray.
yeah, we're not quite. I haven't shown summer yet, but definitely the other 3. Well, summer softball, Barb, can be tough, and you've done it a lot. Sometimes you can get those 95-degree days and you're playing a 4-game tournament in one day. That can be the opposite extreme.
They're particularly tough on the catchers and the umpires.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember giving water to umpires multiple times during those tournaments.
If you're playing, you get to come in and sit down in between. And
Yes.
if you're an umpire, you're standing the whole game.
Yeah, that would be hard for me. I mean, at 59, the bad everything, I don't even want to just say back. I can't stand forever, I can't sit forever. People don't realize, this is going to be 2+ hours of standing for these gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. Call a dead ball, foul.
Like that nice, loud, early call by the umpire.
Yes. Very efficient job. That ball could be in there.
That's trouble.
And they're going to send the
Runner's
runner.
coming home.
Throw and safe. So we got another run here. Go to 8-1. And if I didn't say so already, folks, we got beautiful facilities here at Bel Air High School. The athletic director is Craig Reddish, a friend of mine. Had some college classes with him at Towson. He's the wrestling coach here, longtime successful team. That ball's straight up, Barb, and I don't know if that's going to be a sun problem, but great job.
No, not on that side of the field.
Yeah, that was a great job by our second baseman, Anna Tackett. So we are going to the bottom of the 7th inning. So that inning we had 1 run and 1 walk and a single. So I'm going to tell you right now that going into the bottom of the 7th inning here. Fallston should finish the game with 8 runs, 9 hits, and 10 left on. So that's a pretty good amount of hits for one game, Barb.
They probably like that left on base number to be a little lower,
Yes,
but they're
yes.
at least they're getting on base, and they have pushed around some runs.
So we need a big comeback here, folks. Okay, you got your pitcher warming up here. Let's see what Bel Air can do. So if
At
this
the
hold,
top of the lineup too, right? Starting for Bel Air.
yeah, if this score holds, Barb, it'd be the second time that the Fallston pitching staff would be able to hold Bel Air to 1 run. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I like getting both pitchers work out, especially now you're probably getting into the playoff season. You want to keep them both sharp.
Outside.
It's nice to get to watch Fallston. You know, I live in Fallston, and I drive by the field all the time and watch them practice. And it's good to actually get to see them play.
So this is our leadoff, our leadoff batter, Kirsten Coppage, and she has had a good day. She's 2 for 3 now. She's
There's
3
a
for
nice
4.
hit to right field. Nice solid hit.
Yeah, she's 3 for 4 for the game. She scored their lone run, and she had a ground out earlier that ended up being a fielder's choice. So she almost had a perfect day. So we got Abby Wizard coming up. Abby's 1 for 3. Senior here today, celebrating senior day with her parents and family. Dad's over here to my right, scorekeeping, whatever the technical app is that they have, that somebody has to be on the computer scoring the game and giving up-to-date data for people that are at home. Greg helped me out a little bit with coaching during the winters when I had my boys' team playing futsal and indoor soccer. That's a base
It's in the
hit.
hole. Got a little rally going here in the 7th inning.
Yeah.
No outs. Runners at first and second.
So Abby's going to have a 2 for 4 day. That's a great job.
Just top of your lineup, getting on base.
So we have Sadie Whitaker coming up, and she has a single in the game. She's 1 for 3. She had that weird double play earlier where she popped out, but the base runner didn't see it. So Fallston pitcher just needs to calm herself down here and realize she has a 7-1 lead.
Yeah, she just needs to throw strikes, which she's
And
doing a
there's
good
another
job. That
base
one's
hit.
up the middle.
The runner's
The
coming
runner's
home.
coming home. Here's a throw. Oh, nice play.
Safe.
They got her at home.
Wow, that was quite a throw. Was that our center fielder?
I think it was a center fielder, yes. That was a great throw.
That was a close play.
Heads up by the other runners to move up.
So I thought she could have been in, but I don't know where the tag was applied. So sometimes it's just where the tag was, up the body or lower body.
I thought it was up the body, and
Yeah.
I think she could have slid maybe a little sooner.
That's a huge out. She
That's a huge out. Kills your momentum a little bit, too.
Yeah, she scores that run, and you got second and third, nobody out. You got a really good rally going here. Nice pitch. That looked like a changeup.
Well, it looked off speed.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this batter's faced this pitcher since they switched pitchers, but she doesn't throw quite as hard as the first pitcher, so maybe the timing's off a little bit. It was a nice outside pitch.
Yeah, that was Jaden Betters. She finishes day 1 for 4. So we're coming up to Ava Vecchione, and she's looking for her first hit today. Down to the final out here, folks, for that Bel Air. Just outside.
And she's still hugging the outside corner.
Mm-hmm. Well, she left a few of those singles a little bit too over the plate for what she had been doing earlier. That's a nice ball to hit.
Just foul. At the cameraman again.
Yep. Okay, just fought that one off. That was a good fight off. I would have missed that ball for sure. Barb.
Yeah, that was pretty far outside. She did a good job to reach that. And now with 2 strikes, you got to protect the plate.
Low. One base hit here. A good chance of scoring 2, but they need a big rally.
No, fought that one off. Good job. That pitch looked a little bit more over the plate than she's been throwing. Bel Air's spirit is still unwavering.
They're saying their runners would like to come home. Foul out of play. Got a foul ball hitting a fan, and then the batter just said, "That's my brother." That's hilarious, folks. Fan just took the ball off the gut, and then the batter's very proud of herself that it was her brother. Wow, that ball is struck, but let's see if the outfitters call that. They do.
There you go, did a good job. I think the ball hung up just a little too long.
Yeah, that was a nice fly ball there, but that is the final out of the game, folks, and the final score is 8-1. And I'm gonna do a little recap here, Barb, of the hits and runners. They had 3 hits that inning, so they finished with 11 hits. But, you know, they didn't really put them together in the right places.
No, especially that last inning. That was a great play at home, and I think that she made the correct call at third base to send her.
So I'm going to tell you the weirdnesses of sports, Barb. You literally had more hits for Bel Air than Fallston. But we have an 8-1 game.
Right.
So in my count here, I have, you know, way too many base runners left on for both teams. But, you know, that's sports. So, you know, it's just the way it happens sometimes. So I have Bel Air dropping to 3-12. They only had 1 run, but they had 11 hits, 10 runners left on base. A lot of running into force outs. They actually ran into a couple outs on the double play and a few other plays. And Bel Air, that could have been a much closer game. Fallston took advantage of their opportunities.
They did. They absolutely did. And I'm impressed with both teams. They said Bel Air just wasn't getting the timely hits. And really Fallston wasn't until the 4th or 5th inning. You know, it was 1-0 for a long time during this game, and then they started putting their hits together.
So we went from saying it's a pitcher's duel for a long time, and then the game got busted open. Fallston was very opportunistic. They finished with 8 runs, 9 hits, and they had a lot of runners left on base too. But Barb, thank you again for calling the second game with me this year. I enjoyed having you. So what do you think about these 2 teams going into playoffs?
I think Fallston's in great shape. They executed a lot of different areas on the field: the pitching, the catching, the hitting, the small ball. You know, in the defense, they hit their cutoff when they needed to. I think with Bel Air, I think the first part of their batting order is very strong.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can keep getting on base and maybe the lower part of the order can push some runs across, I think they'll do well.
Definitely. So I look forward to seeing the regional results coming up. Final score of our game today, folks: Fallston 8, Bel Air 1. Bel Air moves to 3-12 on the year, and Fallston moves to 11-5. I'm Ray Ruse with my broadcast partner Barb Solberg. Thanks for tuning in, and look forward to catching you on our next telecast.